Case file number 006. Death in the Melody. Dark history of nursery rhymes. Have you ever wondered why the songs we sang as children feel a little too dark? Behind every playful rhyme is a history soaked in blood, death, and silence. Today, we reveal the true meaning of the lullabies that lulled us to sleep. You've heard these songs, but you've never heard them like this. They laugh, they sing, but these are not just songs. These are echoes of horror, once whispered through candlelight, now sung by innocent lips. Welcome to the Rhymes of Death. 1. Ring Around the Rosie, Song of the Black Death. Hundreds of years ago, in the 14th century, Europe was submerged in the darkness of a terrifying nightmare, the Black Death. This was one of the deadliest pandemics in human history, claiming the lives of tens of millions, destroying entire civilizations. During those days, red spots would appear on the skin of the afflicted, forming circular shapes, like an undeniable sign of impending death. These red blotches, known as Ring Around the Rosie, became a symbol of the death and destruction spreading everywhere. It was believed that when these spots appeared, death was not far behind. The streets were cold and filled with lifeless bodies, scattered in the wake of an unstoppable disease. The cries of the dying, the tolling of church bells, created a sorrowful symphony of loss and despair. To confront this mysterious and deadly disease, the doctors of the time wore strange, fearsome garments, the long beak masks. These beaks were stuffed with herbs and spices, intended to block out the bad air, a mistaken belief that the disease spread through the air. The doctors, cloaked in long black robes, with their beaked masks and staffs in hand, moved like shadows between life and death. The song Ring Around the Rosie was born from this era, seemingly a children's rhyme, yet it holds a deep, hidden story of grief and terror. As children joined hands and sang about the Ring of Roses, they would eventually end with We All Fall Down, a grim reminder of the fate that befell so many. Though time has passed, the images of red spots, lifeless bodies, and beaked doctors remain deeply etched in human history, as a poignant reminder of the destructive power of pandemics and the fierce will to survive in the face of darkness. 2. Ba Ba Black Sheep. Taxes, oppression, and blood. Hundreds of years ago, in the shadowy heart of medieval England, a silent cry echoed across the countryside. This was not the scream of war, nor the howl of famine. It was the quiet, relentless sound of taxation. Woolsoft, warm, and precious became the lifeblood of the English crown. Under the reign of Edward I, the wool tax was born. Each black sheep, each bundle of fleece, was no longer just property. It was a debt to the king, to the clergy, and to the landlord. Ba Ba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master, 1 for the dame, and none left for the man who raised the sheep. The peasants, stripped of warmth and hope, shivered in their homes as the elite grew richer. The sheep were shorn bare, and so were their keepers. In 1381, fire finally met fuel. The peasants' revolt, led by Wat Tyler, rose like a storm. Villagers demanded justice, an end to cruel taxes, a chance to breathe free. But dreams, in those days, were often paid in blood. The rebellion was crushed. Tyler was struck down, and the heads of hope rolled across muddy streets. Out of the ashes of oppression, a lullaby emerged. A rhyme whispered through generations. Soft, sweet, and chilling. Ba Ba Black Sheep. Not just a song, but a requiem for the voiceless. A haunting reminder of what happens when the weight of power presses too hard on the poor. Though centuries have passed, the echoes remain of fleeced sheep, broken backs, and lullabies born from suffering. 3. Jack and Jill, beheading and falling to death. Hundreds of years ago, on a hill shrouded in mist and mystery, 2 children walked hand in hand, Jack and Jill. They weren't just fetching a pail of water. They were walking into the pages of a hidden, haunting history. In medieval England, water wasn't free. Wells were controlled by the church and lords, and taxes were imposed even on a sip of life. Legends say Jack and Jill were sent to steal water, a crime punishable by pain and sometimes death. Jack fell down and broke his crown. But what was this crown? Some say it was his skull, shattered against the stones. Others believe it meant his dignity, crushed by a world that punished the poor for daring to survive. And Jill came tumbling after. Some say she slipped in grief. Others whisper she was pushed because she knew too much. Over time, the truth was buried beneath nursery rhymes and soft melodies. But the echoes remain, a tale of control, of resistance, of two souls who climbed a hill and never came back the same. Today, it's just a rhyme, but long ago, it was a warning. Even a simple trip for water could become a journey to the edge of death when power ruled over mercy. For rock-a-bye baby, rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. For generations, mothers have whispered these words to soothe their children to sleep. But few ever pause to ask, why is the baby in a tree? And what happens when the bough breaks? In the 1600s, in the cold corners of England and colonial America, infant mortality was a shadow no family could escape. Children so small, so fragile, were born into a world where death often came before the first birthday. It is said that some would hang cradles from trees to protect the newborn from wild animals or from the dampness of the ground. Swaying gently in the wind, the babies slept. But nature is not always kind. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. It wasn't just a rhyme. It was a fear, sung in melody, that even in sleep, danger loomed above. Some believe this lullaby was never meant to comfort, but to warn that in a world ruled by fate, even innocence could shatter in an instant. To others, it's a ghost story, a mother's lullaby sung to a child, already gone, rocking only in memory. Today we still sing the song, soft, sweet, but beneath the melody lies a truth. Even the gentlest lullabies can carry the weight of grief, loss, and the fragile thread that ties us to those we love. 5. Other articles: poverty, bankruptcy, and despair. London Bridge is falling down. A simple nursery rhyme? Not quite. Behind the playful melody lies a dark and ancient tale. For centuries, the real London Bridge collapsed, burned, and was rebuilt again and again. Some legends whisper that human sacrifices were buried beneath its foundations to keep it standing, offered to the river as payment to the gods of death and time. This song we teach children might just be a haunting echo of blood, stone, and forgotten rituals. Goosey, goosey gander, where shall I wander? It sounds like a playful rhyme, but its footsteps lead into dark, forbidden places. This nursery rhyme dates back to 17th century England, a time when Catholics were hunted, tortured, and executed for worshiping in secret. The old man who wouldn't say his prayers refers to a priest, dragged from hidden chambers, thrown down the stairs, punished simply for praying the wrong way. So when the goose goes wandering, it's not just a game, it's a warning wrapped in rhyme, reminding us of the terror once carried in every creaking step. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. But Humpty was never just an egg. Some believe he was a cannon, perched high on a castle wall during the English Civil War. When it fell, it shattered beyond repair, even by all the king's horses and all the king's men. Others say he represents a fallen king, prideful and doomed, or the fragile state of power itself. What seems like a child's rhyme is actually a poetic autopsy of collapse, of empires, egos, and things that can never be put back together again. These songs survived plagues, revolutions, and centuries of silence. Now, they live inside our childhood memories. And maybe something else. If you felt a chill tonight, don't worry, it's just a song. Subscribe, and next time, I'll show you what's hiding in your favorite fairy tale.